do that. So those are really my updates here for today. So I want to appreciate everyone for hopping on. And Marques, I guess appreciate you for coming on here. You've done a couple podcasts with me over the years and a couple speaking events. It's really great to see you, my friend. And I'd love for you maybe to just start off with the group a little bit about your background, your story. Marques, for those who don't know him, really great speaker. Hopefully you'll get to see him at person at one of the events that you all go out to at some point here too. But good friend, runs an awesome podcast, has a book. You have one or two books?
So I'm a four-time best-selling
Four.
author, twice by myself, and then I co-authored two books.
Okay. Yeah, I knew the two that you had. So four-time best-selling author. Yeah, got a lot
just
of stuff.
just here or there, nothing special.
Awesome. Well, Marques, love for you to kick us off a little bit about your story and who you are.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. So I'm Marques Ogden. I'm from Washington, D.C. I live in Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. It's a really itty-bitty small town, probably about 25,000 people max. It's about 30 minutes outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. Moved here. I bought my home in May of 2023 after divorcing my ex. And I am a father of two daughters. My stepdaughter is 21. She's actually studying abroad right now at NYU in Madrid, studying nursing. And then I have a 9-year-old daughter as well. So as Jamie mentioned, I am a speaker, I am a coach, I am a consultant, I'm an author, podcaster, business owner, but everything I have earned in the last, I'll say, 11 years, give or take, has really come through mindset and mindset realignment and focus. You all are working, you're in school right now, you're trying to push forward in your journeys. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, and Jamie can attest this, how much you prepare in college, how much you study, how good you do on your exams, all those things, and that's awesome. You want to do those things. But we call those the hard skills, like knowing your craft, knowing your business, what you need to do. In order to excel in life, you need to master soft skills like empathy, compassion, understanding others, active listening, and understand this really, really big. Life is not linear. Life is not going to go straight line from A to Z, boom, that's it. I've been up, down, all around in my life the last, probably 25 years of my life, right? Between playing football and then going to NFL, all these things, I'll tell you that in a moment. But my life has been up and down, up and down. And the only thing that has gotten me to where I'm speaking now, I just got back from Cabo. I was in Cabo for an amazing client, 1,000 Mile Travel Group. Some of their big clients are Delta, United, Sabre Technology, Virtuoso, Carnival Cruise, Canard Cruise, all these big organizations. And we were hired to speak at their global leadership conference at the Hyatt Ziva Resort. And Hyatt is a huge client and sponsor of 1,000 Mile Travel. And we did that. I flew out Friday, spoke Saturday, got amazing reviews. And now I got back home I got back home 1 o'clock in the morning today, Monday. And here I am for Jamie. And I do these things because Jamie and I have a great friendship, but Jamie knows anytime it's about mindset, it's about perseverance, it's about pushing through, everything is going to move forward off of that, no matter where you're at, who you are. So again, I'm from Washington, D.C. I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. I got one scholarship offer to play football. Was going there. I was studying finance. I actually interned, Jamie knows this, at Merrill Lynch for a summer as I was in school. Loved it. I had a job set on Wall Street to go and work. As I left Howard, I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars and my old coach, Jack Del Rio. And I'm going to tell you all the exact same thing Jack told us when I was a 22-year-old rookie. You have to be your own CEO, period. You have to be your own chief executive officer. What that means is you cannot wait for teachers, people in your network, Jamie, myself. You can't wait for anybody to tell you what to do, when to do it, where to be. That's not how this works. We can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. We can't. We can help you. We can give you information. We can guide you. I have a saying, knowledge is power, but applying knowledge is life-changing. So no matter how much knowledge you have in your life, if you don't take action to move forward, you will not get not just where you want to go, but where you deserve to be. There's a huge difference, huge difference. So again, was an NFL athlete for about 6 years, enjoyed it, loved it. It was great. But unfortunately, as I transitioned away from the game or the gridiron, I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. I had no plan. I had no thought process. And y'all, never forget this. Write this down. I've learned this probably in the last year. Your plan needs a plan. Okay? Your plan needs a plan. What that means is you just can't say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. Strategic planning is saying what you hope to do. Tactical execution is what you have done. As my father, who was one of the first African Americans for the Federal Home Loans Bank of New York in their DC office, he ran their stocks and bonds division. He literally worked about 2 blocks from the White House in the 1970s. And my dad always said, in life, you have to be your self-inspired, self-starting individual, and you have to figure out what you do well and build off that, right? So having a plan is not enough. Your plan needs a plan. So I didn't have a plan. So if I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a plan that needed a plan, right? So I ended up getting hooked on nightlife, gambling, painkillers, addiction, anything and everything bad was what I got hooked on. That was my outlet. That became my crutch. And I leaned on that because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Finally, I found it and I started a company called Caden Premier Enterprises. We started out as a small itty-bitty concrete contractor in downtown Baltimore. But what I was really good at, what I was really excellent at, I was good at sales. I was good at getting people to like us. We didn't have any Zooms. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have LinkedIn. There was none of that. I mean, we had, Yahoo and Google, stuff like that. But we didn't have any type of hey guys, let's go online and post, want a construction worker? Here I am looking for a minority certified contractor, hire Marques. No, none of that, zero. So we had to go out and work like there was no other way than getting people to know you, like you, and trust you. And remember this saying in life and in business, building relationships plus building trust equals loyalty. Trust is built through competency, reliability, and having people's best interests. If you want to be great, people have to know, they have to understand at no question, at no thought that you are going to do everything you say reliably, which means in the time frame that it needs to be done. And that's what we did with our company. We were very good at getting people to want to hire us, trust us, work with us. As you all go into your field, people that you do business with and they trust you, they become your what I call legacy building clients. Jamie is a perfect example. I've known Jamie now for, godly, I'm going to date myself here, 5 years. 5 years I've known Jamie, right? First thing was a nice little casual conversation. and he got to know me. And here's the thing, guys, you can't rush the process of trying to do business with somebody, right? You can't do it. If you come across like that, it's going to go nowhere. So when I met Jamie, we went through the process, got to know each other, hired me for a small job, did that job, did myself well, did him well. Next thing you know, I worked my way up, worked at Excel, major conference for Carson, got to be interviewed by Ron Carson, and Jamie has now moved on to an awesome position. But here I am again in front of you all. And right before the call, Jamie said, Marques, we're going to do an event together in October for my team. That's mindset, right? Mindset's not just about how you persevere through something. It's about understanding in business that you're not going to get everything you want when you want it, but are you patient enough to wait for it without trying to force it down somebody's throat? You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. People who do well in life and in business learn how to, I say the same, be a farmer, not a hunter. If you hunt, you try to shoot something and get it, you may hit it, you may get lucky, but more times than not, when you go hunting, you don't really catch. Those are the odds, right? When you farm and you plant and you water, you will always get something once it's ready. Okay, talk about mindset. Jamie, you don't know this, but I thought about this and I'm saying I want you all to listen to this, okay? One of my favorite movies is The Wizard of Oz. Okay, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. One of my favorite movies, right? There's a scene when Dorothy and Toto end up going from black and white to Munchkin Land. You know what I'm talking about, right? What did Dorothy and Toto have to go through? A tornado. Right? So they went through. They saw the witch on the broom, like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they saw. That's what they had to go through to get to where? Munchkin Land, where it was blue skies, it was rainbows, it was a yellow brick road, it was pretty flowers, the good witch of the north, so on and so forth, right? My point is, in life, you will go through a tornado just like Dorothy and Toto did, right? You will go through it trying to get to the other side, to Munchkin Land, where it's nice, where it's blue skies, where it's pretty. But that's the reality. That's mindset. People see that movie and don't see that. Every time I fly somewhere on Delta and they have Wizard of Oz, boom, I'm on it. Why? Because every time I see it, I think about all of the storms, the tornadoes I had to go through to get where I am now in Munchkin Land as a successful speaker. Guys, ladies, I started speaking in September 2013. Again, I had my construction company. I ended up going bankrupt in that business. 2012, I hit a snag. And then on top of that, my ego, my bravado, it put me into a position where I literally was thinking I knew everything. I was better than what I was. I was overconfident. It pushed people away from me. And then that with a bad job, it took me under. So in April 2013, I moved to Raleigh. A year prior, I was the largest African-American subcontractor in the city of Baltimore for site work. April 2012. April 2013, I'm in Raleigh. I'm bankrupt. I'm broke. My home was foreclosed on. Both cars were repossessed. I had no money. And I literally was in the tornado of Wizard of Oz. That's where I was. I got to a job at Merrill Lynch in Durham, fired from that job, all because I didn't do well on my practice test, which was my fault. Went to a construction company the next day, fired from that job 5 days later. The only job I could get was a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. And you know what's funny, you all? I still blamed other people for my errors. Mindset is all about saying, you know what? You make a mistake in life, you own it, you fix it, you move on. That's what you do. And I didn't own it, I didn't fix it, and I sat in and said, it was your fault, it was your fault, it was your fault. And that's not gonna get me anywhere. No accountability, no responsibility, you can't have a strong mindset. Accountability is an internal promise that you make to yourself to do what is necessary to achieve success. Responsibility is an external promise you make to somebody else to do what is necessary so they can succeed. I'm accountable to myself. Anytime Jamie Hopkins texts me, calls me, needs me, I'm always responsible to him. No matter, I'm operating on 3 hours sleep. But you know what? If Jamie needs me for something, he knows I'm always there. That's mindset. Jamie has the mindset to know when he needs Marques Ogden for whatever, he don't have to think about it. He don't have to worry about it. He knows Marques Ogden will be there no matter what. And that's the type of reputation you all want for yourselves. So again, no accountability, no responsibility. One of my favorite people is J.K. Rowling. She wrote the Harry Potter series, and her quote, and I live by it, rock bottom is the moment that I rebuilt my life. She wrote Harry Potter in her car. She wrote it in Starbucks, and everybody told her she was nuts to write that book. It would never succeed. Just like everybody told Dr. Seuss, his books wouldn't work. 140 some publishers later, he got it published, right? Just like everybody said Abraham Lincoln would never win the election. Took him 8 times, but he won, right? So my point is that that's the type of mentality that you have to have. So I finally had my rock bottom moment when somebody's trash, rotten meat, nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage gets all over my body, my skin, and my clothes. And that made me realize if I don't own where I'm at in my life, I'll constantly be that, sitting here the rest of my life saying, what if, why not me? What I call it like the old person syndrome. Like, you used to be this. I was a great high school football player. I was a great this. I was. And I tell everybody, do not worry about the past. Do not get anxious on the future. Live in the now. Live in the now. That's what it's all about. People need to focus on the now, not the past, because it's gone. The future's not here yet. Don't drive yourself crazy so that you can't even know what's going to happen. When you focus on the now, everything else becomes that, your reality. So again, I struggled with that, but I finally figured it out. I started to speak in September 2013, didn't get a paid job for 2.5 years, and that is mindset. Most people would have quit at 3 months or 6 months, a year. It took me 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 30 months to get my first paid speaking job. Got the paid speaking job April 2016 for Miller Mock College. And then I started to do exactly what you all are doing with Jamie and FinServ. I got coached, I got developed, I learned my skill sets, I got into my persevering mindset. And in the last 8 years, next month, since our first paid job, we worked for over 55 Fortune 500 companies as a speaker, over 15 Fortune 100, like the Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Equitable, Home Depot, New York Life, MetLife, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Siemens, Cisco, Intel. Those are our clients. Like I said, guys, I just got back from Cabo at 1 o'clock this morning. And you look at me, what, 10 years ago? I'm broke. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 11 years ago, I'm broke. 10 and a half years ago, I had my rock bottom moment, right? 8 years ago, I got my first paid speaking job, finally. And here I am now. Guys, ladies, that's mindset. You know what I mean? That's what it takes. So my question to you is, do you have what it takes to develop a winning victory mindset, no matter what? There's a fixed mindset, which means you don't think you can learn. It's totally negative. Growth mindset is good, but it's about your growth. Can you develop a victory mindset mentality where it's about Brady and Grant and Cooper and Josh and Jamie, and not just about Brady by himself, not just about Grant by himself, not just about Cooper by himself. Bring everybody to the table. Remember this saying when it comes to life and building a mindset, and never forget it. Time is the only retail price item that we all pay the same thing for. Again, time is the only retail item that we all pay the same price for. No matter who you are, Brady, Grant, Cooper, Josh, Jamie Hopkins, Marques Ogden, we all have to pay that retail price for time, which means you cannot do anything about it. It's going to always keep going no matter what. Warren Buffett says, no matter how much money I make, and God knows he makes a ton of money and he's worked hard for it, he can't stop time. He can't change it. He can't buy it. So what does that mean? Operate and do with it the best you can, because once it's gone, it's gone. So I'm going to give you an acronym for mindset. We can take questions. The M is mentally. Be prepared for the journey. It is not going to be easy. It's not going to be handed to you. Here's the saying, guys, if somebody hands me something, I don't want it. Don't hand me anything. If I've earned it, I will take it and I will say thank you. But don't hand me anything. I don't want something that I haven't earned. So mentally be prepared for the journey. I is invested. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you have no passion for what you're doing, people will see it. They'll see right through you, and they're going to say to themselves, oh, Brady, man, he only wants my money. Damn, Grant, I like him, but golly, man, like something's off. Like he's pushing me too hard. Cooper, great guy, man, knows the stuff, but every time I call him or he calls me, it's about business. He doesn't ask about anything other than like, he doesn't know anything about me or my life. Guys, remember this too, when it comes to investing, right? And trying to grow a business, have a mindset. Most people in life, they master the art of talking, right? Think about it. We have speech class. We have debate class. We have communications class. Do we have an active listening class? Do you learn how to listen? In business, to have a mindset to win, you better master active listening. And in business and in life, learn to listen to others, let them speak first, and then you provide what you feel is the value that they need to hear, that you believe in or invested in, and that will move them. N is never ending, never ending. Pursue it relentlessly to the edge of the earth and beyond. Never give up on yourself. 2.5 years, not one paid job. If I would have quit then, where would I be now? I have no idea. Never ending. D is determination. When people are negative towards you, are Debbie Downers, have their negativity bounce off you like armor. Remember this, when somebody is talking bad about you, they aren't confident about them. Period. Period. Okay. S is sets, S-E-T-S. Set a goal, achieve a goal, set a new goal. Complacency is the biggest killer of anybody in business and in life. E is expanding. Great quote by Jonah Hill. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. If you live in the comfort zone, you'll be just that, dying every day on a vine. And T is talent. We all have talent. What you do with it is up to you. That's mindset. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get to whatever your munchkin land is, yellow brick road, blue skies, birds chirping, Dorothy singing over the rainbow to you, however you want to play it, you're going to have to do what Dorothy and Toto did. Go through a tornado at some point, at multiple points, and you got to have mindset and perseverance and grit to get from the tornado to the other side. Remember this saying, and I'll take questions. After the darkest and worst thunderstorms come the biggest and brightest rainbows. Period. Jamie, questions?
And I love that. I see a couple guys on camera. Asmod, I think, wrote in a good question in here too, and then Kellen. But feel free if any of the guys on camera want to ask something. But he asked, can you share a little bit about what kept you going when you hit that rock bottom? Is really the point of the question.
So what kept me going is realizing that I had something inside of me to help others, and that I could help others succeed in life where I failed. And when I really got that into my mindset, Jamie and everybody, that pushed me through all the no's, the dark days, the tough days, because at the end of the day, I realized at that moment, I just wanted somebody to hear me out. And no one did. I said, if I can get through this, maybe I'll be the guy that people are trying to have others hear them, that don't want to, or people aren't listening to them, that I can be that individual that can help people get through dark days. Because at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. We all have had to go through darkness to get to the light.
And Kellen said, all this is incredible. Can you talk a little bit about the value of asking for help?
Ooh, asking for help is everything in life and in business. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs a hand. Listen to this saying and never forget it. The human mind can do a lot of things, but the human mind cannot do everything. It's not possible, right? So if you want to be great, learn how to check your ego at the door and ask for help when you know you need it. The greatest sign of strength is asking for help. Your ego wants your ego, when it gets really big, it wants you to be isolated, rely just on yourself, and not bring anybody else into the darkness. So you gotta remove that thought process and bring in light to move yourself out of the darkness.
Thanks, Marcus. Hi guys, for all of you that I've interviewed, good to see you guys again. Marcus, great to see you.
You as well.
Yeah. Quick call out here. Allison is on this call right now, and she shot me an email yesterday asking for some support with reviewing an essay that she's doing for applying for a scholarship from Schwab. And, I just want to give her a moment or a shout out for that initiation and asking for the support to do that, asking for the help. How can FinServ support her? And she wrote the essay and just said, can you take a look at it? Can you let me know what to do? We have so many outlets in this regard to be able to look at this. Jamie was not you know, in his days before the college, he was a professor. He'll put some eyes on it. We have an African-American led firm that sits on our board. And I just want you guys to understand that value, because Marcus is right on point. If you're not asking for the support, we can't help you get there a little bit further. And that's not just FinServ, it's all of your life. But thank you. I think that goes a long way.
Well, you know, Kellen, like you said, you know, in life, you have to learn that you don't know all the answers, and you have to be okay with that, because people who feel they know it all and are trying to be know-it-alls, people don't want to be around them. People, and there's a saying I live by: vulnerability creates connectivity. The more vulnerable you are with people, the more honest you are, that's when the magic happens. So I see a question from Josh, but I can't read it all.
Yeah. I can read it. Josh, if you're on and you can talk, you can read it too. But if not, and I see you're not on camera right now, I'll read it. But said, you know, Marcus, thanks for being here. The 2.5 years of grinding, you know, how did you know you were on the right path and that you need to keep going? You know, then how do you know the difference between something you should pursue and something you should pivot or, you know, give up on?
That's a great question. So I could get free work from people, but people weren't paying me. And then I realized, Josh, at that moment, I could do what I'm doing, but to get paid for it, I have to bring value. I just can't come up and just start talking out of my mouth about this, and I gotta make sure it fits a theme. I gotta make sure that not only is it fitting a theme, do the stories I'm telling fit a theme, right? Are the action steps I'm giving, as you heard Kellen say, I'm right on point. Anytime I hear a client say that phrase, you're right on point, I know that I gave the value that they needed and they were looking for in what they paid me. So, and live by the saying in life: give people more value than you take from them in monetary payment. When you do that, you'll always be busy. Always.
I love that.
That's a great question.
That was a great question.
And fulfilled too, Marcus.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is fulfillment. Well, I love it. Like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life. I couldn't, because this is what I was meant to do. And I'm meant to help people that want to be helped. And that's what it's all about.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I live in the sales space, and anytime someone says to me that they're a hunter, my ears perk up, because they're grinding, right? They will go hunt, they will do it. So what's the difference when you talk about farming? Because a lot of these kids, a lot of these students, fellows that are on this call, you know, if they go into a client-facing scenario or choose to be a financial advisor, they're going to have to go find these clients, right? So there's an initial aspect of this is where they have to go hunt to a degree, right? Like, talk a little bit about what that means.
So what you're talking about is the art of trying to get leads, right? And so, but I'm going to go this route. So if you're out always trying to hunt, people are going to see you as somebody that's just trying to get that kill and move on. You should be farming, planting seeds everywhere you go. And then from there, your harvest grows. And then from there, you can go out and pluck that lead once it's ready. You don't have to go out and try to find something and shoot it. So it comes back to taking time to actually develop relationships. Like I said, I don't hunt with Jamie. Like I would say, Jamie, you got a new job. Why did you hire me for it? I'm like, we talk about this tonight because it fits where he's like, I said, Jamie, are y'all doing events? Do you need speakers? He's like, yes. Okay, great. Tell me more, right? I had a guy who I worked for, 6 years ago. And he's going to talk today. He's going to bring me in. He just has a new health center up in Boston. We chatted today. Yep, Marcus, end of May, you're my guy. We'll go over the budget, logistics, and we'll get you here. So we're saying the same thing, but the thing is, though, you want to have the mentality of a hunter who acts like to the world you're farming, where you're not trying to shoot them down and then pull them and drag them back to your place to like, and for the successful, kill, you want us like, okay, I've got the time to go out and do things, but like, you know what, but I'm going to plant here, I'm going to plant there, I'm going to plant here, I'm going to plant there. This way, I don't come across as desperate. I don't come across as aggressive. And then when I happens that, yep, it's time. And now let's do this together. So you have to have a mentality of going out, but people can't know that. They have to know that, okay, this guy's patient or this girl is patient and methodical. Because they feel like you're out trying to get them right away, they're gonna, it's not the deer. If a deer hears you, what are they gonna do? They're gone. They're spooked. That's the same thing with people.
Well, remember that societies that move from hunting to farming grow the fastest in the history of the world. And in fact, actually, ones that use higher caloric farming techniques actually grew the fastest. So it's very interesting, right? Based on the calorie count of what you could grow was the fastest growing parts of the world. So it's the water the most promising seeds.
And Amy knows about farming. It's shocking. Is this the like fish research thing?
I know lots of random things. I also know one of my favorite things about Marcus, that he was an offensive tackle, and I did ask him one time who he hated going against in the NFL, possibly the most. And then who is that, Marcus?
Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
Yep. You realize, and it's the thing, it goes back to the whole process, like, understanding the game, understanding the angles, understanding, the mechanics of it. Same thing in life, same thing in business. You have to understand who you're dealing with, what they need to hear, what's going to make them say, yes, you're hired, and then move from there.
Okay, why Jason Taylor?
Super long arms, very good with leverage, great first step, was really good at understanding angles and getting his body into a position where you had to really put your body in an awkward position at times to get him away because he had such length, and then he could also bend very well. And good DNs have great length with their arms, great leverage, and they can also continue to move. Like one of my old teammates, a guy named Kyle Vanden Bosch, DN as well. Kyle was like that. He wasn't as tall as Jason or as long, but Kyle had a phenomenal motor. He could bend at the corner very well, and he always pushed himself to the pocket by never giving up. And unless you like fell on top of him and laid on him, he was always going to get up. You had to finish him, otherwise he was going to get right up and keep on going.
I just want to see you lie on him. That's funny.
Yeah, like, boom. If you don't lie on him, he's just going to get up. So with that's the game of football. They're going to try to beat us. We're going to try to put them in the dirt. That's just football.
What about your favorite book, Marcus? If there was a book you'd recommend to the
there's a couple of good ones, but I like The Go Giver by Bob Berg. I read that. That was a great book. Great
so
book.
Good.
Great book, and helping people understand. And then another great one that I read, he's a personal friend of mine, is The Breakthrough Code by Tom McCarthy. Tom used to work for Tony Robbins back in the day, and actually he was on my podcast. I interviewed his son Tommy Jr., who's doing phenomenal in business, but he talks about how to break through people, like empathy, compassion, farming, not hunting, all that. And Tommy's done great for himself, as a businessman, as a husband, as a dad, and he's just a great guy overall.
So if you want to have Bob Berg on there, he's pretty active on LinkedIn, and when we we pinged him before, and he came on the framework back in the day.
Yeah.
He came on the framework because I did a whole speech on him.
Hey, she got muted. I don't.
So rude.
Just ask Roderick. Roderick knows.
That was all me. All right. Anyway, I think
that's awesome.
Well, Brady or Grant, you guys have been on camera all day. Any questions from you all?
Yeah, I had one quick question. First of all, thank you for your time and energy. I really appreciate it. I guess going back to the kind of idea of trust and relationships, kind of equaling that loyalty, as someone going into the industry and maybe not knowing the most and being vulnerable, how do you really establish that trust immediately with people?
That's going to be in your network, right, Grant?
Mm.
People that you know that you can end up working with, family, friends, things of that nature. You want to start there. And never forget this, ever forget this in business and in life. What you say about yourself builds your self-confidence. What others say about you builds your book of business. You need to gather testimonials and showcase to people that you can do your job at a high level, and others agree with that. That will help move you towards new clients, new horizons, and a lot more business going forward.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely, Grant.
I had a question. So you talked a bit about like the difference between, hunting versus for the kill versus like farming, planting those long-term seeds with relationships. How did you do that in particular with like building up your public speaking career? How did you meet Jamie? And then also kind of just also for everyone, like how can you do this in financial advising in particular with regards to like getting clients?
That's a great question. So let me ask you this question real fast, okay, Brady? What's the number one thing that you must do in business to be successful in your mind?
Well, you have to deliver on the products, whatever you're doing.
That's true, but that's standard. Anything else you could think about?
Building up a good network and relationships with people.
Not bad. You're warm. Brady, you have to market. People can never buy your product if they don't know you exist. One of my clients, that's short story. So I did a podcast back in 2017 with a guy named Mike Schneider. Mike is a good friend of mine. Mike had a guy named Aaron. Aaron was his client and a mentor. He mentored Aaron. Aaron heard my podcast interview on Mike's show. Aaron reached out to Mike. Hey, Mike, I'm looking for a business coach. Is Marcus the right guy? And Mike told Aaron, if you want a good business coach, hire Marcus right now. Aaron hired me and we became friends. Aaron was a member and still is of Carson and of Buckingham. So then what happens? Aaron introduced me to Jamie and into his contact at Buckingham. What happens? I get to know Jamie. We build a relationship. He then ends up hiring me. Aaron gets me in front of Buckingham. The guy that hired me, he's not even there anymore. I spoke for Buckingham at their corporate office and headquarters. I worked for Carson for many years. All because, right, Brady, I did a podcast that I was tired. I didn't feel like it, but I told myself anytime if I'm going to build trust, right, you got to show up. So I showed up. If I didn't do that podcast where I'm at with Carson, now Jamie, Buckingham, and that relationship would never be.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great answer.
That's a solid close. And you do remember how you met me too. Half the time people are like, Brady, when they don't remember how they ever got.
Oh man, I know, man. Like I tell everybody, man, I said one of the best relationships I've ever formed in business came from a podcast that I didn't want to do and I did the podcast in my car because at that time I didn't really have I couldn't afford a laptop, so I was on my phone in the car just doing my interview. And then Aaron became my client. I coached him up really, really well. Again, goes back to, right, Kellen, that farming. I worked with Aaron for a year, and then Aaron said, man, this is great. I got to get you in front of Jamie. I got to get you in front of Steve. And then what happens? A year and a half later, I get my first job with Carson. 3 years later, I get my first job with Buckingham. It all planted. The seed was planted with that first podcast interview, and everything grew, and I picked up from the harvest at the right time.
Well, I want to be cognizant of time, and I feel like you mic dropped it there on that last one too. And I appreciate Brady and Grant for being on camera, and Kellen, thanks for coming on today too. Everyone else, I think if that's it, we'll probably wrap up, and look forward to seeing everybody again soon. As I kind of mentioned, we've got a couple fun things coming out from FinServ. I actually did miss one at the beginning, but I'll put that in an email later on. We're also going to be doing a team race at the Philadelphia Marathon in November, and we'll actually be covering about 10 people who want to register and run either the half or the full. We'll actually cover the race for you too. So I don't know if we have any runners in FinServ yet, but we will find out by November. And so that's where myself and a couple other people live there in Philly. But yeah, I'll send that out in an email here in the next couple of weeks. And AIF designation, will include that in another couple of weeks too, if you're looking to get a designation kind of before you get out to school for free. And Marques, thank you again, my friend, for coming on. You always bring the passion, energy. I love it. And actually, like, you know, even though I've heard this a bunch of times, I got a couple new things. I mean, I love that, you know, I actually just tweeted while you were talking about it, but the whole time retail quote, I love that one. It's awesome. So I don't think I've heard that one before. So that's
No,
good.
that's new. And then my Wizard of Oz comparison, that one's
Yeah.
new also.
Well, Kellen's laughing because we were just talking about Wicked before this, which I went and saw it a couple months ago, and it's such. I don't know if you've been yet, Marques, but
Oh yeah, I love Wicked.
yeah, it's awesome. So if everyone hasn't seen Wicked, the movie's coming out now too, but the show is amazing in New York, or if it travels around. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Stay safe and keep making the world a better place.
Talk to you guys later. Jamie, what day should I reach out to you about trying to plan something for October? What's a good time frame?
I'll give you a call right now.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
See ya.
See y'all later.